Everyone, this is Sid. This is
Arshad.
and you're watching 91 Mobile's YouTube channel. If
Yes.
you don't know it already, and as most of you might know already, Google Pixel has announced two phones.
The Pixel and the Pixel XL. I don't know why it's not called the Megapixel. why did they not go with Megapixel?
What about a third one, like Ultra Pixel?
Oh, wow, yeah, it would have been awesome. But
So-
how big would the size be?
6 inches.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
A phone bigger than your.
No, never mind. No, we're not going there.
Coming back to the point.
Yeah.
So the thing is, Google Pixel is apparently the best phone to run Android.
Yeah.
However, there is another phone called the iPhone, which is the best phone to run iOS. But here's the gist of what we're going to do here.
Yeah.
First, we'll talk about Pixel, and then we're going to compare it with the iPhone. Alright, and we'll go section wise so that people can follow up.
Absolutely.
Without any further ado,
Let's start off.
start. Now, before we begin, let's talk about what Pixel actually is and how is it different from the Nexuses.
Correct.
Nexus is
Or is it the next side? Okay, we
Nexus apostrophe S.
can't. Something, man.
Something.
Anyway, moving forward, so basically with the Pixel, what Google is trying to do is that it's trying to make its own hardware and have a hold over its software as well. What that means is hardware software optimization, which could be better.
Exactly. So what Nexus used to do was it was a nexus between Google and a third-party vendor, maybe Huawei, maybe LG, maybe Samsung when it used to make one.
True.
And they used to make the hardware for it, and Google used to supply the software for it.
Yep.
Now that middleman is gone, so Google is designing both the hardware and the software. It is being designed by, I believe,
HTC.
HTC.
HTC is making the phone for Google,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that HTC has any say in the design whatsoever.
Exactly. It's-
In fact, what's interesting is that the design doesn't even have an HTC logo.
One more thing, Nexus has had a tendency of being cheap.
Yes.
They were not cheap, but at least they were affordable mid-rangers,
yes.
is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Nexus 6P, to give you an example, had a Snapdragon 810 processor, which was top of the line at that time.
Yes.
And the prices started in India for 40,000 rupees.
Almost. Yeah.
Pixel pricing is way high.
Yeah, through the roof actually. I mean, it's almost as much as an iPhone 7.
So I'll talk about the iPhone later, but the Pixel starts at 57,000 rupees for 32 gig model.
Yeah.
And Pixel XL.
Pixel XL starts at 67,000 rupees for the 32 GB model.
Yeah. So
So,
the change in name also takes away the price tag, which we used to like.
yes, well now you can't just make kidney jokes for only Apple anymore.
Right. So if you want two phones, you have to now sell two kits. One for the iPhone.
Basically,
one
you're dead.
Now let's compete. We'll go section wise. We'll first talk about design, display, cameras, and all the other sections based on the specifications itself. We have not yet reviewed the device.
Yes.
So we won't be giving you judgments based on performance.
Yes.
However, being reviewers, we have our own, guesstimates and estimates. So let's start with designing first.
So this time around, the iPhone actually takes over its design from the predecessor itself. It's nothing new, it's nothing different, which means that people might not really be interested in the new iPhone.
What he's
because of
trying to
that.
say is you can have an iPhone 6, a 6S, or a 7, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. The only difference being you don't have a headphone jack, but that's about it.
Can we not talk about that? It hurts.
Oh my god!
By the way, in the presentation, Google's presentation, they categorically mentioned
Yeah, they-
this phone comes with a 3.5mm jack.
I mean, I think that will become a norm across all presentations.
I know.
now. Yeah, seriously.
Anyway, so let's not talk about that. The thing is, iPhone uses the same design as an iPhone 6s. At least Pixel does not look like Nexus.
No, it definitely doesn't look like it looks new. It looks fresh, but at the same time, I mean, a lot of people are a little, hungover about the design as to if it's good or not.
Let me tell you the basic outline of the design. It basically has a curved body from behind. It's made up of metal from all around. The bezels are a bit too much for my liking without there being a button on the chin.
Yeah.
Apart from that, the antenna bands are not there. Did you notice that?
Yes, they don't have an antenna band primarily because there is a glass strip, a really big glass strip on the back, which also includes the camera modules. So
And
which
fingerprint
means
scanner.
and the fingerprint scanner as
It's
well.
called dual tone back, I believe.
Yes, dual tone back. So that is where people are fighting about if that design actually works for them or not,
But again, one thing that I want to talk about is the camera bump or the lack of it.
or the lack thereof. Yes,
There is no
that's
camera bump on this design, and I believe that sums up what the design is. Now let's compare the two designs. Irshad, your pick for the design.
This is actually a very tough one, but I don't like the design of the Pixel XL or the Pixel. I quite think that the fact that even if Apple hasn't innovated on the design bit this time around, I'm happy with it.
So he's basically a fan of vintage.
I'm a fan of it.
3-year-old design works better. But no, on a serious note, even I don't appreciate the design of the Pixel.
Yeah.
As I said, it's a bit too clunky. The chin, it's got too much bezel, yeah. Firstly, and secondly, despite having a 2-year-old design, I believe Apple has innovated in areas that really matter. I'm talking about the IP67 protection.
That's right. That which makes it water resistant, which is something that is not present on the Pixel.
Exactly, and I don't see the reason of not including it, to be very honest.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
see
you can
it
harp
either.
about the headphone jack all day long, but when your phone is pushed in a pool, we know which one will survive.
Especially considering that it is a flagship phone and it costs so much. I think water resistant features or waterproofing features are a must.
So for our side, for both of us, design goes to,
iPhone.
despite being old
Yes.
and
definitely.
regurgitated.
iPhone 7 wins the design segment.
Next up is the display. So Google Pixel comes in two variants, two sizes, 5-inch one and the XL, which is 5.5-inch one.
That's
and
right.
they differ in resolutions too.
Yes.
Full HD versus Quad HD.
That's right. So what that essentially means is that both the Pixel and the Pixel XL are infinitely better in terms of resolution when compared to the iPhone 7.
That's the reason I was chuckling for a while. iPhones, iPhone 7 Plus has Full HD resolution,
Yes,
which is there on a 5-inch screen on the Pixel.
that's right.
But I believe the reason for high resolution on Pixel makes sense because of the Daydream feature.
That's
so,
right.
Virtual
Yeah.
reality is Android's baby. Apple does not have a say in it as of now.
As of now, they don't have any play over there.
Right.
But the only thing that Apple has done with the display this year is a better color gamut, which means that the display does look better. But at the same time, I think in this round,
No, I'll tell you what. Pixel has got AMOLED. Pixel has got better resolution. Display-wise, it's fantastic. I believe display should go to it. However, one thing you forgot, being an iOS fan, I don't know how you forgot that one, is 3D touch.
yes,
Apple has 3D touch on its display. It's got a pressure sensitive
That's
display
right.
that gives rise to a lot of shortcuts and a lot of things.
absolutely. 3D Touch is one of the most interesting implementations on an Apple phone ever since they've tried innovative stuff. I quite love 3D Touch on the iPhone 6s, and it's pretty cool on the iPhone 7 as
He's
well.
quite touchy about it.
But yeah, that's something that
Right.
Google
However,
has
I believe
tried.
that again, 3D touch is a personal preference. It's not some breakthrough feature. The same thing you can achieve with a long press.
Probably. Yes, actually.
So display section hands down goes to the Pixels. Coming to cameras, Pixel has the best camera. And this statement I've been hearing for I've heard it 3 times in 3 months.
Yes, I mean Pixel having the best camera and Google actually talking about DxO mark and the score that is at
DxO mark is basically a rating for cameras and DSLRs and smartphones alike.
Yes.
And Google Pixel scores 89 on that.
Yes.
Which is good.
Which is
very good.
Which is the best apparently, at least according to DxO mark. But you know what? At least with respect to cameras, we will still have to test it out to tell you which one's better. But there are certain things missing. There is one particular thing that is missing on the Pixel and the Pixel XL, and that is optical image stabilization.
Exactly, and I think even the smaller iPhone this time has it.
Even the smaller
iPhone 7 has it this time.
iPhone 7 this time
But
has
one
OIS.
random thing that I have in mind. All the good cameras in the town. You got S7.
Yes.
You got Pixel. You got this one iPhone.
iPhone.
Why they all clocked at 12 megapixels? Megapixels don't really matter.
Which is
One thing that I would, however,
good.
want to talk about in the cameras itself is storage. iPhone, yeah. I know.
this one is tricky.
iPhone gives you iCloud. Apart from the storage which you have on the device, on both storage, you get 5 GB of cloud free.
Yeah, that's right.
On Google Pixel, you get unlimited cloud storage for all your high resolution.
Full
movies.
resolution, that too.
That too. So it won't be compressed before being uploaded.
Yes.
You can upload a 4K video to your Google account for lifetime.
Quite possibly, this is my most favorite feature about the Pixel.
So again, it does away with all those storage compromises that iPhones have been suffering from.
Yes.
Think about this: 32 GB of onboard storage on Pixel, plus you get unlimited cloud storage with high resolution images. Dope feature.
No, that is.
But
a
cameras
good feature.
will still, I believe, we'll call it.
We'll call it even at this
front
point.
one we have not discussed yet.
So I mean, the selfie camera on the iPhones also improved. So it's got a nice 7 megapixel camera. So the images definitely
with HD resolution. 7 megapixel HD only camera.
HD only camera, which is a bummer. True. I think actually this one goes to Pixel because it can capture better videos. No.
So again, Irshad does not like taking much selfies. I do.
Yes,
and there is one feature on the iPhone called selfie flash, retina flash.
Yes, retina flash.
It's a killer feature. It's really a killer feature, and I don't think that Pixel would have it on its Android because it's it's got a stock Android look and feel. Nougat does not have it by default.
That's right.
So if you're a selfie hog, iPhones might just be for you.
Might just be.
But again, we are withholding our judgments on camera. Camera is a draw.
It's a draw.
Now we were saving the best discussion and the most extensive one for the last.
Yes.
Performance and software.
True.
So the Pixels feature a Snapdragon 821 processor, which has got two dual core processors, is what I believe. One 1.6 gigahertz, the other at 2.5 gigahertz.
That's right.
Right, and iPhone has got an A10 Fusion CPU, which is the first quad core chip by Apple.
That's right.
But we won't be talking about performance. We know they're going to be top notch.
Absolutely.
What we're going to talk about is software performance.
Yes. Software wise, I think Google has definitely, gone leaps and bounds ahead with Android Nougat, especially because at the core of everything is Assistant, which means that it wants to reduce your time in doing tasks.
Let's tell them about what Assistant is first.
Yes, let's talk about Google Assistant because Google Assistant is possibly one of the most important things for Google right now. It is a Siri, competitor, definitely. But I mean, it's using machine learning and AI to actually make voice-enabled, judgments for your questions.
Basically, you remember saying "Okay, Google" to your phone? Yeah, it's the same mechanism that works here. But Google now has been improved leaps and bounds, as what he said. And apart from that, the other feature that I like about Android Nougat is split screen. The ability to use multiple apps at the same time.
That's right. Which is not available on an iPhone.
The thing is, on a device of the size of the Pixel XL or an iPhone 7 Plus, you would want to use two apps at the same time.
I agree. I totally agree.
Exactly. You would want to send a mail and watch a video at the same time.
You would want to use the real estate. That is actually definitely useful.
Right. So I believe this part. So again, iOS 10 is not, I have not seen a major upgrade in comparison to the iOS 9.
No.
So in terms of software, what do you call it? Do you think that Google has stolen the show this time?
I think it's still too early days. I mean, we will definitely have to evaluate how the software performance is, but on paper and according to what the first impressions of many people are, it definitely looks like Google is inching quite close with respect to software performance.
Just to give you a comparison here, what all comes with the new Android Nougat? You get extensive support for virtual reality. Many new apps now support the VR headsets.
That's right.
You get split screen windows. You get Vulkan graphics. The graphics are improved. Apple had been playing the ecosystem card for a long time now.
That's right.
But now, if you look at your daily tasks, in my opinion, you use Gmail to send mails.
Yes.
You ping your friends using Hangouts, at least the office guys. You store your pictures on Google Photos. You use Google Drive. You use Google Docs. You use Google Search, and you have an Android phone. Let's just say.
Let's say.
I
won't, but okay. Yes, let's say.
That's what I'm saying. So getting an Android phone would complete that ecosystem for you.
Absolutely. Also, the whole ecosystem thing works when Google is also trying to build it into multiple different products as well. So it looks like Google wants its assistant to be in a speaker.
Right. The Google Home.
In Chromecast.
Again, think about this. What happens when Google Assistant comes to Chrome?
Yes.
You can use the same thing on, say, a Windows laptop. MacBook, Linux laptop, say Ubuntu,
right. Yes.
And on your phone too. Yes. So, who do you think has an ecosystem edge here is my question.
I mean, honestly, this one is very difficult to evaluate at this moment because Apple's continuity with MacBook is miles ahead of what...
For those of you who do not yet know about continuity, it basically means that you can start off where you left.
That's right.
Let's say he's typing a message on his, he's typing a mail to me.
Correct.
On his iPhone, and then he switches to his MacBook. It is at the same place.
At the same place where it is left off.
And so one more thing that I like about the iPhones, I'm cutting you off.
That's all
is
right.
the ability to call. if your MacBook is lying, if your phone is lying beside your MacBook there, you get a call, your Mac answers it.
That's a lifesaver, man.
You don't
seriously.
even have to pick it up from there.
I mean, of course, there are apps that can emulate that for you on Android.
I do that.
Yeah, but at the same time, not everybody. It's not baked into the system.
Right.
So on that basis, I think Google still has a long way to go. But Assistant is a really good step into its new ecosystem.
So I think the basis here is that Google has, Google has jumped a lot further, dived a lot further into the ecosystem.
That's right.
But the thing is, Apple did not have to. It is already there.
It was already there.
So maybe that's why the increases in the upgrades in the iOS 10 are incremental.
Yes.
While compared to Android Nougat, whose upgrades seem monumental.
That's right.
In respect to it.
Actually, that's a very good point.
So that was our take on Pixel and iPhone. let's do a fun experiment here. Ishad, you take 30 seconds or 20 seconds and tell us reasons to buy the iPhone 7 over the Pixel, and arbitrarily I'll choose sides and I'll go for Pixel. Just to give the audience a better idea.
The reason to choose iPhone 7 over the Pixel is that the price gap is not much. And if you already have a MacBook or if you're already into the ecosystem, I think the iPhone is like a definite choice. Or if you're already using an older iPhone, I mean, the iPhone makes a lot of sense. But if you're jumping ship from Android to iPhone, that might not just be a good option.
I'm batting for him on this one. I think he forgot 2 points. My phone is waterproof. And secondly, at the same price, iPhone is more braggable.
True. I mean,
so my turn now. The reason I think one should choose Pixel over the iPhone 7 would be cloud storage number one. Camera, I'm not judging because as it is, the difference would be too less to see from the naked eye.
That's right.
But ecosystem. You see, I see a good future for the integration of Chrome browser, Chromebooks, Android, Gmail, all that stuff. And Google is working hard towards it.
Yes.
One more thing is that Pixel phones are one of the most longest running Android phones, and if you take upgrades into the account. If you love Android, you expect at least 2 to 3 years of support on a Pixel device.
Alright.
Say if you buy a Sony and you don't get the next update, you're screwed.
Basically, what that means is that you will get Android upgrades, assured Android upgrades on Pixel devices.
So I think it's the difference is between what you like. If you like the iOS, iPhone 7 is the best phone out there.
True.
However, it is my personal thing now. If you like Android, for me, Pixel is not the best Android phone out there.
Which one is?
Galaxy S7 Edge.
That's a good point to make.
I'll be very honest with you.
Yes, and it doesn't even,
it's
go
got-
boom.
A Galaxy S7 that is not blast is a great phone.
It's a great phone. I kind of agree with you.
Right.
The best Android phone right now is the Galaxy S7 Edge.
So even with all those features that Pixel offers you, Galaxy S7 outrightly, I believe, tops it with features like, okay, one more thing. This I cannot believe I did not say it earlier. Samsung too offers you all those features. Say side sync.
Correct.
Side sync is a feature where you can see your Android phone screen on your MacBook or your PC.
That's right.
So all those features have been there on other devices as well. The good thing is that it is now being baked into the ecosystem itself.
Correct.
So the bottom line again is iPhone 7 is the best iOS phone. Pixel for me is not the best phone out there.
Yeah.
You can get a Galaxy S7 for much cheaper.
Yes.
This is it.
This is Ershad signing
We're
off.
signing off. If you like this video, drop in a comment and press that thumbs up button.
Yes.
Do not forget to share it with your friends. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Yes. Please do subscribe. Bye-bye.
Ciao.